Imagine traveling the roads of 18th or 19th century India. Picture yourself amidst the vibrant tapestry of a land undergoing immense change, where ancient traditions met the burgeoning influence of colonial powers, dusty, dangerous, and full of strangers. Every mile was a gamble, every encounter a test of trust. You might welcome the company of fellow travelers seeking solace and safety in numbers as you navigate the unpredictable terrain, sharing food and stories for safety, forging temporary bonds with those who shared your path, unaware of the secrets they might carry. But what if these companions hid a deadly secret, a darkness concealed beneath a veneer of camaraderie? This was the reality for many who encountered the Thuggee, a clandestine network of assassins who terrorized the Indian subcontinent for centuries. At the heart of this shadowy world was Thug Behram, a master of disguise and deception whose name became synonymous with fear and death. A name infamous not for royalty or war, not for acts of valor or conquest, but for murder. His legacy is etched in blood, a chilling testament to the depths of human depravity. Behram is believed to be one of history's most prolific killers, with a staggering number of victims attributed to him. Operating when India's trade routes were both lifelines, arteries of commerce and connection, and death traps, these routes, vital for the exchange of goods and ideas, also became hunting grounds for those who preyed on the vulnerable. The Thuggee were a secret society, bound by rituals and a shared thirst for blood, thriving on trust, exploiting the inherent human desire for connection and companionship, and deception, weaving intricate webs of lies to ensnare their unsuspecting victims. Their existence whispered like ghost stories, tales of horror passed down through generations, shrouded in fear and disbelief. Behram's life offers a rare glimpse into this hidden world, a chilling insight into the methods and motivations of these ruthless killers. As British power was rising and old ways were dying, a period of immense social and political upheaval that provided fertile ground for the Thuggee to flourish. His capture and confession would help end the Thuggee era, bringing a measure of justice to the countless victims and their families. We'll explore Behram's methods, the tools and techniques he employed to carry out his heinous crimes, beliefs, and the vast network he led, uncovering the intricate structure and the deeply ingrained ideology that fueled their reign of terror. This is more than a crime story, it's a journey into the heart of darkness. It's a window into a forgotten chapter of India's past, a glimpse into a world where trust was a weapon and death lurked around every bend. Join me as we uncover the chilling story of Thug Behram and the Thuggee cult, a tale of murder, deception, and the dark side of human nature. Thug Behram was born around 1765, not into privilege but into the secretive world of the Thuggee. From a young age he learned their deadly craft, a hereditary profession passed down through families. Rising to become a feared leader or jemadar, Behram commanded up to 200 men. He chose targets, planned attacks, and distributed loot, running a sophisticated criminal network for nearly 50 years. Behram's genius lay in deception. He and his men would befriend travelers, earning trust before striking. This psychological manipulation made the Thuggee nearly impossible to detect. As a leader, Behram managed logistics, enforced strict rules, and shaped the destiny of his followers. To outsiders he was invisible, within the cult he was a legend. The Thuggee's weapon of choice was deceptively simple, a yellow silk or cotton scarf called a rumal. To most it was harmless. In Thug hands it was lethal. A silver coin tied to one end gave it weight, making it perfect for swift, silent strangulation. Thugs worked in teams. The strangler used the rumal while others held the victim down. Behram claimed to have personally strangled 125 people, and witnessed nearly 1,000 more deaths by this method. The rumal was more than a tool. It was a symbol of their identity and faith. Strangulation was chosen for its silence and lack of blood, aligning with their religious beliefs. The yellow color linked the rumal to death and their patron goddess Kali. For Behram and his followers the rumal was sacred, a deadly instrument of both faith and deception. This simple cloth became the signature of the Thuggee cult. The Thuggee's crimes were not born of simple greed or malice. They were, in the minds of the Thuggee, rooted in religious devotion to Kali, the fierce Hindu goddess, a deity of destruction and creation, revered and feared in equal measure. They saw themselves as instruments of her will. They believed their killings were not acts of murder, but sacred sacrifices, offerings to appease and honor Kali, ensuring cosmic balance. This belief system traced their origins to a myth, a foundational story where Kali's chosen stranglers defeated a great evil without spilling a single drop of blood. This act, they believed, pleased the goddess greatly. Before each expedition, before each planned act of violence, the thugs performed elaborate rituals, seeking guidance and blessings. They meticulously observed their surroundings, seeking omens from animals or birds, interpreting their behavior as messages from Kali, guiding their actions. The flight of a bird, the call of an animal, all held significance. If the signs were unfavorable, if the omens were bad, they would immediately abandon their carefully laid plans, postponing or even canceling their expeditions. They were utterly convinced that Kali was directly warning them, protecting them from potential failure or worse, her divine displeasure. Murder itself was highly ritualized, a dark sacrament performed with precision and unwavering faith. After strangling a victim, ensuring their silent passage, they consecrated the pickaxe, the tool used for burial, imbuing it with sacred significance. They then offered prayers to Kali, seeking forgiveness for the act, yet simultaneously reaffirming their devotion and obedience to her divine will. A ritual meal, often consisting of consecrated sugar, was shared amongst the Thuggee, solidifying their bond. This shared meal reaffirmed their devotion to Kali and to each other, strengthening the collective purpose of the Thuggee Brotherhood. Strict taboos governed nearly every aspect of their actions, rules that were never to be broken, lest they incur the wrath of Kali. They adhered to a strict code, and they never killed women, children, holy men, or leather workers, fearing Kali's swift and terrible wrath, believing such transgressions would bring misfortune upon the entire group. Their crimes, however brutal, were always framed as a religious duty, a necessary act of devotion. It was not mere robbery, but a sacred task ordained by their goddess. For Behram, the infamous leader of the Thuggee, leading this deadly cult was as much about serving his goddess as it was about gaining wealth and power. The two were inextricably linked in his mind. This potent blend of unwavering faith and extreme violence made the Thuggee a uniquely perplexing and difficult phenomenon for outsiders, particularly the British colonizers, to understand and combat. Their elaborate rituals gave them a sense of purpose that transcended mere criminality, unity that bound them together in a deadly brotherhood, and a dangerous sense of invincibility fueled by their unwavering belief in Kali's protection. But these same deeply held beliefs, the very foundation of their power, would ultimately help unravel their secret world and bring about their downfall. The Thuggee's unwavering faith was both their impenetrable shield and, ironically, the instrument of their undoing, as their own beliefs provided the key to understanding and ultimately dismantling their organization. The Thuggee thrived along India's vital trade routes, preying on merchants, soldiers, and pilgrims. Poorly policed and remote, these roads were perfect for ambushes. Behram's gang roamed for 50 years, especially in Awadh, blending in with travelers and striking at opportune moments. Their deep knowledge of the landscape gave them a deadly advantage. They would patiently befriend groups, sometimes for days, before attacking at night in isolated spots. The scale of their operations was staggering. Thousands vanished without a trace. Local authorities were powerless against such a secretive mobile network. On these roads, Behram built his terrifying legacy. The rise of British power in India brought new challenges for the Thuggee. The British East India Company needed safe trade routes, making the Thuggee a direct threat. William Henry Sleeman led the campaign to eradicate them, realizing that brute force wouldn't work. Sleeman's breakthrough was turning captured thugs into informants, approvers, by offering them their lives in exchange for confessions. This tactic broke the cult's code of silence, as each confession led to more arrests and intelligence. The Thuggee's secrecy began to unravel. Behram and his peers found themselves hunted, their old haunts now dangerous. Sleeman's network mapped out the Thuggee's operations, targeting leaders and dismantling the organization. The era of impunity was ending fast. For Behram, the world he'd ruled for decades was collapsing. The British campaign was relentless and systematic. The hunters had become the hunted. In 1840, Thug Behram was finally captured, an old man but still a legend. Faced with overwhelming evidence, he confessed, hoping for mercy. His detailed testimony revealed the Thuggee's rituals, language, and methods, giving the British unprecedented insight. Behram calmly recounted his role in over 1,000 murders, naming hundreds of accomplices. His confession was a turning point, helping Sleeman dismantle the cult across India. The sheer scale of his crimes stunned the authorities. Behram's words became the key to unlocking and destroying the secret society he once led. The master killer's final act was betraying the world he had built. Despite his cooperation, Behram was not spared. The enormity of his crimes, nearly 1,000 murders, sealed his fate. In 1840, at about 75, he was executed by hanging. His death marked the symbolic end of the Thuggee era. The British campaign, fueled by confessions like Behram's, crushed the cult. Behram is listed as the world's most prolific serial killer, his legacy defined by an unimaginable death toll. By the 1870s, the Thuggee were declared eradicated, their reign of terror over. Behram's end was the final chapter in a dark saga of faith, deception, and violence. Today, the word thug is casually tossed around in everyday conversation. It's a common word, often used without a second thought. But few who use it are aware of its dark and bloody origins, deeply rooted in the history of the Thuggee cult, a secret society that once terrorized India. Over time, adventure stories, sensational novels, and thrilling films have taken liberties with the facts, blurring the line between historical truth, captivating myth, and outright fiction. This has unfortunately obscured the true and often disturbing history of the Thuggees and their infamous leader, Behram. Behram's legacy is etched in blood, quantified by a chilling number, 931, a staggering loss of life, a testament to the scale of his brutality. But his actions, however monstrous, were also a product of his time, shaped by the prevailing social structures and deeply ingrained beliefs of 19th century India. His story serves as a stark reminder of how easily faith, tradition, and cultural norms can be twisted to justify even the most terrible and inhumane acts. The British campaign against the Thuggee cult was presented as a triumph of law and order, a victory for civilization. But it was also undeniably an exercise in colonial power, a demonstration of imperial control over a vast and complex land. The truth, as always, is far more complex and nuanced than a simple dichotomy of good versus evil. Behram's life and the story of the Thuggees serve as a cautionary tale, warning us of the inherent dangers of blind faith, unquestioning obedience, and the seductive power of deception. Ordinary people, often driven by poverty, desperation, and a rigid adherence to tradition and belief, were drawn into a world of extraordinary violence, becoming active participants in unspeakable acts. The roads where Behram and his followers once hunted, ambushing unsuspecting travelers, are now paved highways, bustling with modern traffic. But his story, and the legacy of the Thuggees, remains a chilling reminder of the dark shadows that lurk beneath the surface of history. The tale of Thug Behram endures, passed down through generations, a grim legend whispered in hushed tones, a dark and disturbing chapter hidden beneath the veneer of everyday life, a reminder of the darkness that humanity is capable of.